Hello, I am Alexander Siedschlag. I am the Dean of the Embry-Riddle Worldwide College of Arts and Sciences, and I want to welcome you to another occurrence of Resilience Reimagined, the Dean Speaker Series. We have a very special speaker, esteemed guest today, Seth Konadu Awuah. Seth, thank you so much for agreeing to speak to us today, and thanks all for joining. Let me begin with extending our heartfelt congratulations to all the people of Ghana, and then as their representative here to Seth, on Ghana's National Day, because March 6th is Ghana's National Day. So congratulations. And thank you for letting us mark that very special day for Ghana by inviting you to speak on Resilience Reimagined today. Seth is a Ghanaian aviation professional and youth activist, and he'll speak to us today on community mobilization and active citizenship to make the world a better place. Under Resilience Reimagined, this is a very important contribution because, typically I like to cite, I won't do that today, but I like to cite the United Nations Sendai framework, which is very important, but it's built on bouncing back and, grow back stronger after disasters. And here, community mobilization and active citizenship really, number one, look at the individual and group and community level of resilience, and don't restrict it to bouncing back after, but to get ready, to get prepared for, and to enable to. So make the world a better place. Very important. Also very important within what our college, our Embry-Riddle Worldwide College of Arts and Sciences, we, your college people, try to accomplish, and it's written behind me, to provide innovative education and research to foster positive change around the world. So that is a great match. And that is also one of the reasons that Seth engages with our college also as a philanthropist, because Seth serves as a founding member of our brand new Philanthropic Council of our college, Embry-Riddle Worldwide College of Arts and Sciences, among other things and initiatives that he is supporting. So our heartfelt thanks to you, Seth, also for being our supporter in philanthropy. Very important. With over a decade of experience in the public sector in Ghana, Seth helped champion a national agenda and discourse towards support for Ghanaian youth interested in career opportunities in STEM, especially in aerospace and industry, through its initiative, Young Aviators Ghana, that has mentored over 30,000 people since its inception in 2019. Currently, Seth is a professional pilot and aeronautical engineering student under the framework of the Stipendium Hungaricum by the Hungarian Government. So he's currently located in the European Union in Hungary. So without further ado, I want to provide my apologies for having to have pre-recorded my introduction and welcome and thanks, for the reason that I am a member of an Embry-Riddle delegation to NASA today, and we are in a secured environment that does not provide me an opportunity to go online. So we will, as always, make the recording available to everybody. I am looking forward to watch the recording myself. So Seth, please accept my apologies, but we definitely wanted to make this occurrence happen on your country's National Day, the Ghana National Day of March 6th. So looking forward, and please, let's take it away. Let's get started. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you once again for joining us today. Unfortunately, Dr. Siedschlag couldn't be here due to being on university travel. However, we are in great hands with Dr. Alex Reister, who will be moderating in his place. Dr. Reister, thank you so much again for stepping in, and we really appreciate it. With that, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Bree. Thank you all so much for being here today. We have such a treat for you for Dean Alexander Siedschlag's speaker series, Resilience Reimagined. So today, March 6th, is Ghana's National Day, and we are so excited to welcome our special guest presenter, Seth Konadu Awuah. So I'm just going to briefly introduce Seth, even though I know when you RSVP'd for this session, you saw all of his achievements and accomplishments. We could spend the entire session talking about the great things that Seth has been doing. He is an aviation professional and youth activist whose innovation and creativity earned him an award in Ghana as the second most promising youth in aviation and tourism in 2019. And with over a decade of experience in Ghana's public sector, Seth helped champion a national agenda and a discourse supporting youth interested in career opportunities in STEM and specifically in the aerospace industry through Young Aviators Ghana. And this initiative has mentored over 30,000 people, incredible, mostly students and young professionals since its inception in 2019. And with his passion for positive impact around youth inclusive projects, Seth was invited to participate in the Nobel Peace Prize Forum, this past December 2024 in Oslo, Norway. And so currently, Seth is a professional pilot. He is an aeronautical engineering student, and he's a founding member of the Worldwide College of Arts and Sciences Philanthropic Council. And so please feel free during Seth's presentation to ask any questions that you might have in the chat. Brianna and I will make sure to keep track of those for the Q&A and the discussion at the very end. And with that, we will turn things over to Seth for his presentation, Community Mobilization and Active Citizenship to Make the World a Better Place.
All right, Brenna, thank you so much. And it's an honor and a privilege to speak to you on this noble occasion on the calendar of my beloved country, Ghana. And I would like to thank Dean Alex for the opportunity to speak to you. Without him, I wouldn't be able to join you this afternoon. I would like to also extend my greetings to the entire staff and faculty of the Embry-Riddle Worldwide Campus of College and Arts and Sciences. So without wasting much time, I think Restart actually introduced me briefly. Yes, I'm currently studying, but in Hungary on the Hungarian Government scholarship. However, I would like to say that everything that I've come as far as I'm concerned is born out of passion and the interest to serve people in my community and my country that has brought me this far. And out of that made me to be able to achieve all that you are talking about. I know I have not arrived yet, and there's more to talk about. So going straight to the point. So when I was growing up, I found so many career perspectives or fields. However, I found or fell in love with the gentleman on our screen, who is the former United Nations Secretary General, His Excellency Kofi Annan. And because I wanted to serve humanity, and he being as a Ghanaian on a global scale, and who he was doing marvelously to support world peace and working for the United Nations Commission for Human Rights before moving to the head as the United Nations Secretary General. I got inspired by most of his quotes, and when I was in my early 20s, I was reading most of the things that he was doing, and one of the quotes that actually has been my guiding principle was that anytime he said that he travels around the world and meets young people or people around the world, they mostly ask him, how do we become a good global citizen? How do we contribute our quota? How do we also get recognized? So it seems like young people got lured by his achievement and always pose those questions to him. And one of the answers that run through all the answers that he gives to them or people was the fact that you can be a global citizen, but then it must begin with community service. So it has been a guiding principle that whatever I would like or whatever that needs to be achieved, whether on a global scale or a national scale, we should begin from your community. So this brings us to the fact that, or the topic about thinking global and acting local. So in all my life in Ghana, yes, I wanted to let my projects take stage at the world stage, but then there was a need to start from somewhere. Why the need to start from somewhere? Because I feel like when you get recognized in your country, or when you get recognized or validated in your community, when you're able to contribute your little act of service to humanity with the people around you, I think that alone is enough validation for you to be able to take your project at the global level. So even though I had a global mindset to solve global challenges, to take center stage, to speak to issues around the world, there was a need for me to start within my community or within my country, Ghana. And that was what I've done for the past few years, trying to serve humanity with my ideas and my creativity. And I think one thing that runs through was my ability to solve complex problem. And I think that even really engineered my passion for whatever I'm studying right now in Hungary. Now the question is, who is a global citizen? And there are so many perspectives that talk about being a global citizen. But to me, being a global citizen means your ability to think beyond borders. So no matter where you find yourself, whether in China, whether in Taiwan, whether in Singapore, whether in India, whether in Kenya, whether in Nigeria, whether in US or Canada, you can be in our world in which we find ourselves, be able to solve global challenges with the same identity, not throwing your original identity, whether as a Ghanaian or a US citizen. You can still make your voice heard, you can still speak up to issues. So global citizenship, going beyond borders, it transcends beyond being a nationality of a country. It transcends beyond your identity that I'm a black or I'm a white. It's a platform that we can all tap into, and those are the things that I have prioritized in whatever I do. So coming now to where I find myself, or even in as much as I'm in school, I still pursue the agenda of being a global citizen, trying to speak up to issues and providing an equal and just world for everyone wherever that I find myself. Now, the question is, why community mobilization and active citizenship in creating a positive change? Yes, when you look at some of the best, some of our world leaders who have actually bring changes or transformation in the life of people, most of them were community mobilizers. And one of them is Barack Obama, who have drawn a lot of inspiration from him. So being a global citizens, being a part of a community, or being part of a community provides you the opportunity, not just being an observer. For example, if you're a citizen of a country, me being a Ghanaian does not mean that I should just, sit down because I am not directly involved in governance processes. No, that's not what global citizenship, that's not what community mobilization and active citizenship is about. the fact is we can actually take a hold of certain challenges that we face in our community and try to even solve them before our aid or in helping bring transformation in our society. Yes, when it comes to community mobilization and active citizenship, it goes beyond voting. So you might think, okay, I'm a citizen, mine is to vote, but I can tell you for the fact that once you vote, it does not end there. Your duty goes beyond that. Your duty goes beyond engaging in politics by just voting. Community mobilization is a personal responsibility for making change. So when I was in Ghana, I always use my life as an example. I grew up in a village. I wanted to make change in the world, be a change that I want to see in the world. So wherever I find myself, and I was fortunate to work at the airport city in Accra at a very young age, in my early 20s, working for the ministry, I had the desire and the passion to know a lot, to learn. And I took the mantle of responsibility to help champion an agenda whereby I can bring transformation in the lives of other young people that are interested in career opportunities in aviation. And community mobilization and active citizenship is not about one person. So when you engage in such activity, it's not about you taking the glory for yourself. It's about collective effort. It's about the power of the people. It's about people coming together to realize that we want to take ourselves out of this situation. And it is a situation where people also realize that we don't need to wait for government. We need to wait for the police. We don't need to wait for somebody from elsewhere to come and solve our problems. But then through our own initiative, through our own collective power, we'll be able to transform our society. So when it comes to active citizenship, people have various ways that they can be active citizens. Some are fortunate to be at the top hierarchy, maybe in a country, work in government, speak up to issues. But then there are so many things that we can actually do to help transform our society in or our communities in the little way without even getting the or without having the opportunity to be maybe working in government. One is advocacy. And in our world that in which we find ourselves, we have seen young people across Africa, across Europe, speaking up to issues, participating in protests, signing petitions, and supporting campaigns. You don't need to be a minister, you don't need to be a president. Once you find out that something is not well in a community or society, you have to take the initiative, you have to take the step as an active citizen to be able to contribute your quota for national growth and development. And as a matter of fact, speaking up to issues does not take anything away from you. Another way you can do is to volunteering to support community projects and local causes through direct action. So one thing that I did in Ghana was to mobilize young people, to bring a sense of orientation to young people, to volunteer their lives. For example, during the time of the COVID-19, I was working with my country Ministry of Aviation. And what happened was the fact that I formed the core staff. And during the time of the COVID, those who form the core staff are supposed to hold the fort at work with the minister, because that was the time that ICAO, that was the time IATA was giving guidelines to countries. World Health Organization were giving guidelines to countries for them to follow to be able to tame the spread of the virus. And I was part of the core staff that was in my ministry. Now there was a duty call for me to volunteer and go beyond my normal duties, reach out to the airlines, get these guidelines to them, go to our airport, assess situations, and be able to get feedback for our minister to be able to work. So these are all volunteer. If you're a global citizen, you don't care. What you actually care is getting things done, getting solutions to problems. And I believe that even during that time, the Young World Health Organization clearly and the UN talked about what young people can actually also do to help in the world to be able to overcome this pandemic. And another way that people can equally also be part of active citizenship or global is seeking information about policy and taking part in public engagement. So most countries sometimes do public fora where they invite people. So if you're in a community or you're in your country and there's a community engagement inviting people in the community to come and discuss, what you can do as a global citizen is to get involved, be part of it, offer solution, be part of the change movement. You don't sit in your house and expect things to change. What you can actually do is to help make critical decisions that can help transform societies. So now when we talk about citizen participation, so we've always been asked to become active citizens, to be active in whatever thing that our government are concerned about. So being an active citizen of the fence, but being directly involved in community-driven initiatives. So citizens, unlike government initiatives, citizen participation must come from communities. So as a global citizen, what you are supposed to do is to help mobilize where there's a need to bring the community together, to sensitize them, to educate them about the challenges, about the opportunities. That is what we call, or that's what we talk about, citizen participation. So being part of a decision-making process. So if you're a young person and young people in Africa, we always complain our leaders are old, our leaders don't involve young people. You as a young person, what you have is to speak up to issues, to make your voice heard, to come out and talk about issues. And that is one way of letting your voice known. That is one way of contributing or being part of being an active citizen. Another way is community. Another way is information sharing. So we find ourselves in an era of artificial intelligence, technology, and innovation. So gone were the days that information sharing was very difficult. But in our time of information age, it's very easy to reach out to people. It's very easy to share information. In our time of Generation Z, they can do so many things with the use of technology. Recently, I had an idea to embark on a Gen Z African summit, because there's currently I've realized that the only way we can help transform the next generation, we can help support the next generation as far as Gen Z, is the fact that we need to guide them in the use of technology or the internet to help actually build themselves to be able to become responsible citizens in future. And I look forward in launching the Gen Z African Summit to engage African young people, especially the Gen Z, because they are the next generation. They need proper mentorship. They need proper guidance. And it's one of the foundations of me being involved in a lot of projects in Ghana, to build the foundation so that I'll be able to build upon it later in future. Because sometimes when I sit back and realize and I see the challenges and what young people are going through, and I feel if they get the right mentorship, even though education, I know they are getting education, but I feel there are so many things that are not taught in the classroom, and they need real people who speak directly into them to change certain lifestyle, to be able to pursue certain kind of powerful to be able to become citizens in future. For example, like what I talked about during the time of the COVID in my country, I was always on TV speaking about issues about COVID-19, talking to young people about what they can do to help eradicate or help tame the virus. I did a lot of things in my country, organized leadership seminars online for aviation professionals who were directly involved, were on the front line of aviation or serving people. I brought professionals from the health sector, providing psychological support to those who have lost their jobs, and also bringing the young people's mind to the fact that technology and resilience is what we actually need in a time of COVID-19, because we, as an industry, we have been hit, and there's nowhere you could actually think of using your aviation certificate, or maybe if you're a pilot and your airplanes are not flying and you have been laid off, where are you going to take your pilot certificate to go? So there was a need for tech innovation, people to think outside the box, people to use technology. People are in their home. People need to come out with new strategies, and all this falls in the line of community mobilization and active citizenship. So what actually brings us together as a nation or as a people is more of a community base. The people, when an issue rises up, whether in your workplace, whether in your university, or wherever you find yourself, your ability to engage and bring the people closer to you to be able to solve the problem, it's a word alone on its own. You don't need to be at the United Nations headquarters to speak up to issues, to your voice to be heard. You don't need to, there's a saying that brighten your corner where you are. So with the little opportunity you have, if you are able to make use of it and provide and innovate, what is important is people may have the same, have preferred so many solutions to the problem. But when you come out with something different, an innovative way of solving a problem, that makes you unique. And that alone is enough to bring you out to the world. Now, the challenges in citizenship engagement. Now we have a lot of challenges in the process of trying to bring people on board. Yes, you wouldn't find it easy. When I read a story about Barack Obama, when he was nominated to go and serve, I think, was it Illinois or Chicago? I've forgotten the story, but he faced a lot of challenges when he became a community mobilizer. And he facing those challenges did not stop him. He was able to overcome those challenges. He was able to, at the age of 24, he wanted to take up, he was nominated. They felt he was very young, but then he didn't let those things stop him. So being a community mobilizer or being an active citizen comes with challenges. I remember I think at the age of 20, I started working in Ghana's public service at the age of, I think, in my early 20s. So what happened was I worked with our Ministry of Gender, and one of our departments, I was their welfare organizer. So I think I was 23, 24 years, and I was in charge of the organizing the staff welfare, the whole of the country, issues that concern staff. And that is where I faced a lot of challenges, I remember. But it was a learning curve and it was a learning process for me. And that was what really built me up. And I was able to learn the ethics of leadership, serving under my bosses, to be able to. And those are the things that built me up to this far. So being a global citizen, trying to solve problems in your community will come with challenges. And you have to be strong enough to be able to overcome them. So, benefits of active citizenship. So, if you become an active citizen in your community or your country, what are the benefits that comes to you, or what are the benefits? What are some of the opportunities? What are the resultant effects of being an active citizen? So when being an active citizen, or trying to mobilize your community as an active citizen, bring a sense of shared purpose and responsibility. So within your community in which you find yourself, you become more like a family, where you understand each other, you understand each values, and we need this kind of strength to be able to coexist with people, to be able to live with people in harmony, to live in harmony in a more peaceful world with people. And when you become concerned about people's challenges and problems, when you become concerned about what the challenges people go through, and you try to help by offering solutions, showing empathy with them, it shows shared purpose. It shows a sense of understanding, it shows a sense of unity and purpose. That thing is, it makes things easy when you decision making, because you have been directly involved with the people for some time, or you've been directly. I wasn't surprised when Obama finally ended up winning to as a senator, because looking at his track record, where he started from and where he built himself as a community mobilizer, those are the things that pave way for him. Why? Because you get the trust of the people. You are able to win the trust of the people, and when, as far as decision making is concerned, people are able to entrust you when, as far as decisions are concerned. And another thing that benefit you tend to also get is when it increases the legitimacy of policy, your policy decisions. So because you are directly involved with the people, you get to understand the challenges that they go through. You get to report the direct issues that the people are going through. So it's not like you sit somewhere and the people are cut out somewhere, but because you are always with them, you tend to understand them. You are able to communicate. You are able to speak to the real issues on the ground. Now, in conclusion, I wouldn't want to talk much, but in conclusion, I would say that becoming an active citizen, you need to start locally. You need to begin with your community by looking at the challenges. So using myself as an example, some of the opportunities that I've been able to achieve this far is because of thinking about people. Is as a result of trying to solve people's problems. It's as a result of contributing and advocating. It's as a result of bringing out ideas that can help solve people's challenges. So if you don't need to be at the UN headquarters, you don't need to be, but the little that you are doing in your community, it's enough to qualify you as an active citizen. And another thing that we also need to take is the fact that we need to take action, move beyond awareness to participation. So one of the reasons why I was able to reach out to a lot of people in Ghana, about 30,000 people or young people and over, is the fact that I believe in action more than words. So I was always working. I was always making sure most of the things that I was doing, if I give projects to you as an assistant, I was directly involved in the process. So there's a quote by Kofi Annan that it says, the future belongs to young people, but the future can only belong to you if you participate and take charge. So starting at beginning from your community, then there's a need for you to participate and take charge. Then after that, you need to build network, connect with others for greater impact. You cannot do it alone. You need to bring people together. You need to get involved with people, build network, be at the right place at the right time. Get the people that are directly involved in solving the issues or the challenges, and bring them on board, and let them be part of the process. And that alone is enough to be able to solve whatever challenge in your community. Another thing is to stay engaged and be in touch with your community. So, Brenna, I think I have exhausted my slide for now, and I wouldn't want to. There was a lot that I wanted to share, but I wouldn't want to talk so much. Maybe I'll wait up for any questions that will come from the people that have joined us.
Yes, and Seth, we had a question from Dr. Kat Moran. She is our program chair for the MS and Human Factors, and you may be able to see it in the chat, but I'm going to read it for you. She said, excellent discussion points in guiding future generations regarding social media, AI, and other information technologies. How best can we teach our youth to assess the relevance, accuracy, and bias of information? That's such a great question.
So I feel the one of the things that I have discovered is the fact that when I see young people doing the wrong thing, I feel like I have a little bit of heartache. Like I feel the pain, because I don't want them to make the mistakes that we actually made whilst growing up. So for me, what I have tried doing is to take things one at a time. So if I have the opportunity to meet people and speak to the truth, or young people and speak, when I get them, I don't joke with it. I go straight to the point and tell you, hey, this and this and this that you're going to do is not going to help you. So it's better you change. Or I use my life as an example. So the first and foremost thing is to first be a role model or be a mentor to those young people. I use myself as an example and tell you that when I was in my 20s, this and this and this what I was doing. I was serious with my life. I used the internet for the right things. I did research with the internet for the right things, and this is what has brought me far. So we need to educate them. So I feel another thing is there should be an intergenerational gap, bridge of an intergenerational gap. Most of the times we are all busy. Parents are busy. We leave our kids for house help. We don't get time to groom them well. We don't get time to teach them the values that they need to know to be able to live, let's say, in a peaceful coexistence with their classmates in school. So I feel like the younger generation have an opportunity. They are exposed to information technology. They are exposed to the social media. However, most of them are not using it for the right purpose. It's just a few of them that are using it for the right purpose. However, that is why in Africa, for example, some want the opportunity to use the social media they don't have. So what you need to do is, if you get the opportunity to meet a younger person who you feel you can really mentor, don't give the chance for that younger generation to go. If you have the opportunity to speak, or you have a voice to command people on a larger scale into a conference room, don't leave that conference room without giving a word to the young people about how they can position themselves, about how they can be good role models. They should grow up and become rich. So those are the values that I did while I was in Ghana, and it helped me to reach out to those number of people. Now, I feel I find myself in a capacity where I can now bring a lot of young people. I bring a lot of policy makers to get people together, where we can bring young people on a larger scale and speak to them and on real issues. The fact is, young people want to feel like they want to be involved in decision making, but you realize that most of the times, for example, we saw the French president at 31 years being a prime minister or a president of France, and most of us admire it. I don't think if the president of France took his life anyhow, he would have gotten this far. In Africa, most of our constitution, you have to be 45 years and over to become the president of your country. I feel if the younger generation wants some of these things to change, like we have the president of Senegal who is about 41, 42 years, we need to take our lives here. And it begins from now. We need to, what the younger generation have that the older generation don't have is the internet. However, how do you use the internet to build yourself that you'll be able to outsmart the older generation? And that is when you have the power, the youth power, to be able to take charge as a young person. So I feel in answering my question, I have exhausted most of the things here, but let's teach the young people the right thing, and I believe that is the best way to go.
Hi, Seth, this is Kat. That was a great answer, and I really appreciate the detail that you put into that. I see the benefit of creating opportunities where the youth who are on the internet more so than probably the slightly older generations like myself, I see an opportunity for them to work together, where they can gain the experience and in the criteria for assessment of technologies or assessment of research or whatever the case may be, but that the youth have something that they can also teach the adults. So I think it's a good opportunity where we can form a cohesive relationship and assist each other. But I like your points. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much too for your valid points made.
I had a question too, Seth, just because I am so, like, everything that you said really inspired me about not just focusing on awareness, but taking action. That's a big calling of mine that my grandmother instilled in me. So I was curious, when you're mobilizing Gen Z, Gen Z, what are some of the challenges that you're finding, to Kat's point, about getting folks sort of out of their houses, offline, off social media, and actually volunteering in person in their communities?
So your question is, how do I do it, or what?
Yeah, like what are some strategies to make sure folks understand the importance and are getting out in their communities in person?
So I try to speak sometimes the way and think the way they are. So that is one of the strategies to connect with young people. So and that is one of the strategies if you are a mentor and you want to be a role model to a lot of young people. When you meet them, you try to psychologically read their body actions and move. That is the strategy I use. And because of that, and I put myself in a way to understand their problems. And they see me as somebody they can easily talk to. So, and one of the things that I also do is continuous follow up and check. So I have a lot of WhatsApp group, a lot of people that I have had contact with all over the country. Some are in the universities outside. We just met once, and I'll be there, and they keep checking up on me, all because when I meet them, I don't just let them go. So if I meet you and I want to talk about aviation, I don't talk only about aviation. I talk also about life issues. I don't think you may have to be 25 or 30 years. Some of the things they know, you don't know, that they know, they are exposed to. However, you need to teach them how the right things to do. So when they see that you care about them, about their progress, and you care about their future, they'll always draw closer to you. And when they are coming, they are not coming alone. They come with their friends. So one of the main strategy is showing empathy and trying to understand them and getting viewed. Sometimes I try to behave a little like them, and when it happens like that, it draws them. They feel at ease to talk to you about their problems, the challenges, everything. So I'll be there and somebody will be recommending, oh, talk to my teacher, talk to my mentor, he helped me. They will be bringing a lot of. So those are the strategies that I use. And
That's amazing.
so
And so much.
sometimes
Oh,
when
sorry,
I
Seth.
see some of my students at the National Science and Maths quiz in Ghana on TV and winning awards and doing well, I realize that I may not be the direct teacher teaching them math, physics, and so, but I feel the advice and mentoring I gave them to take their life seriously is helping them.
Absolutely. And just as the communication person in the room, you're using so many communication strategies from WhatsApp to interpersonal, like face-to-face communication that really does make folks feel invested in what you're asking them to do. So thank you for that. That was a great answer. Are there any other questions y'all can ask in the chat, or if you want to use your microphone, you can feel free to ask Seth a question that way. All right. If there are no other questions, Seth, was there anything else that you wanted to wrap up with? You're getting lots of loved your presentation in the chat.
Yeah, so I feel like I would like to thank everybody for making time out of your busy schedules to join me. And I feel now that I'm in school, because I'm a little bit tight, but I wish I had my free time to be able to be going around, to be doing my things. But the nature of my course is such that it has kept me in a tight corner. I have to study and do a lot of things. But notwithstanding, I am the person that I'm always eager to help and mobilize people to help solve challenges of people, and I like solving complex problems. So those are my motivation. So I feel I have a fair idea of the situation or issues that are going on around the world as far as young people are concerned. I understand what young people actually need within this time. I understand because I've had the opportunity to interact with young people from different countries, different nationalities, different facets of life. And when I approach a young person and he comes to me with a problem, I almost have a solution to his or her problem. So I feel what I need to be doing from now onwards is to look at how I can get collaborators and people on board to to host the Gen Z African Summit, like what I'm talking about, where we can have it in one African country every year and ask young people from all walks of life. And I think Rwanda is one of the beautiful African countries. Or Ghana is one of the beautiful African countries, or Kenya we can be looking out for in future and build collaborations. And I know once the topic of discussion comes out, we get a lot of organizations that will be willing, because if the rate at which things are going, if you don't step in to provide mentorship, to provide advice, I feel they may be ahead of so many things. They may know so many things, but they might not be doing the right things. And I feel somebody needs to stand in the gap. So maybe if I'm not able to launch it this year, maybe I'm looking forward before 2026, 2027, I should be able to launch such a project and be able to create awareness and let people know about what is happening, and bring meaningful people who care about making the world a better place, people like you, to all come on board so that we can help transform our society. I feel like wherever I find myself as an individual, whether as a pilot or whatever, the essence of everything is to serve humanity, and that is what the greatest calling. That is what I would love to do. Especially as far as sometimes when I hear issues about peace and insecurity on the African continent, I feel the Gen Z is the only way out. Instead of them to calling them to action, to take guns and other things, to go and kill people, to fight with people, I feel we can use a different strategy to talk to these young people, get them a responsible life, think very well and think very strictly, and make better life decisions for themselves. And I don't think they will be involved. If somebody calls them to go and fight, they will be involved. So these are the kind of discussion. This is the kind of things and information. There's one man called Mo Ibrahim, and he made a quote saying that what the African youth need is opportunities. I feel one of the things that our leaders are not doing much, they are not creating enough opportunities. When I came to Europe in 2023, I feel there are a lot of opportunities that I'm tapping into. And as an European, a young person, if you work hard, you can do. But the issue is in Africa, we have lots of young people working hard, but then they are not getting enough opportunities so that they can tap into for their hard work to explode. So if African leaders are creating more opportunities for young people, I feel a lot of them wouldn't even end up. So issues about migration like this, we have African young people moving to a lot of African to Europe and other African. I feel if we are creating enough opportunities, the graduates that are coming out of school, we are creating enough opportunities for the young people to take life and to be able to create something for themselves. I believe that we should stop a lot of things. A lot of things must stop. For example, I learned a lot of things on my own because I had an exposure early. So if you create an opportunity for a younger person, it is an exposure, and that alone is enough. So I wouldn't want to talk much. It's a pleasure speaking to you, Alex.
Thank you, Seth. And you did have one more question in the chat. I wanted to make sure you saw it from Birgit. I'm happy to read it to you, but you may have already read it because a lot of what you just said touched on Birgit's comment. So resilience needs to be cast in a new light, which is sort of the premise of your presentation, away from this abstract quality and toward action. Birgit says a valuable component of collective action and our identity. And Birgit's interested in how you're training local resilience ambassadors in Ghana.
I am in school here. I have a lot of people on the ground that are mobilizing people. So in terms of bringing the young people or being bridging the intergenerational gap, what I normally do is, or we do is, we go to schools. Another thing is we organize an annual forum that we call the Young Aviators Forum. We had the opportunity with United Airlines and Embry-Riddle donating T-shirts and a whole lot of staff to support us in 2019 when the United Rail launched its routes back to Ghana. So it mostly involves schools outreach, our forum that we organize every year, and through competitions as well. So maybe if there's a need for any collaboration, that is whereby we can build. Now I'm in school, people are on the ground. If we have to do something, we just have to get them together and for them to be able to get our initiative run. Maybe we could be, for example, the Young Aviators Forum, it's more of an aviation forum. So that is what we can equally do. Or maybe if there's a fund that you want to create or you want to support some of the competitions for young people, you want to donate something. So those are the things that so when we go, for example, when we went with the United Airlines people, it wasn't just about donating brochures and other things to the students, but we spoke to them. We spoke with them some of the pilots share their life stories with them. So those life-touching stories are enough. It's even more than even reading a book. If somebody who lived in a Liberian refugee camp in Ghana has reason to fly for United Airlines, so it means that you that you are living with your mommy and your daddy at home, if you take your life seriously, you can actually do something much better than that. And those are the people that I met in 2019 that inspired me, and I kept working towards my dreams. Even I applied to Embry-Riddle and I couldn't come because I was rejected visa because of non-availability of funds and scholarship. So I feel getting involved with the right people at the right time is very, very important in the formative life of a child or as a young person or as a next generation. I feel when United Airlines and Embry-Riddle came and we organized an alumni meeting, everything in Ghana, I feel that was a defining moment, and I took it seriously, and they helped build me up. So without also forgetting, I want to thank Mr. Odate Williams, who has also been very instrumental in my life. He supported me. He has been passionate about me, my scholarship process, helping me, referencing me, and these are people who have been supportive, who have been life mentors to me, and he's somebody that I should always give credit to. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for all of your questions, and thank you, Seth, for all of your thoughtful answers. And we just appreciate everyone's time today. Thank you again to Seth for that amazing presentation. And we hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, and I wish you the best of the day as well. And bye.